Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news making headlines today. President Lee Jae-myung and Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva held talks in Brasilia on Monday. The leaders adopted a joint statement building on the 4-year action plan agreed in February. The focus was on resuming negotiations for the Korea-Mercosur trade agreement. Lee and Lula also agreed to strengthen strategic cooperation in resources and energy to diversify supply chains. The two sides signed 7 memorandums of understanding covering areas including space and industrial technology. President Lee will hold a Korea-Brazil Business Roundtable in Sao Paulo and meet with the Korean community on Tuesday. The South Korean government plans to enshrine into law that its nuclear-powered submarine program is not intended to develop or possess nuclear weapons. According to government sources on Tuesday, the Defense Ministry will soon introduce a special bill stating that the program would not undermine the global non-proliferation regime. It will also require compliance with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, cooperation with inspections by the International Atomic Energy Agency, and strict nuclear safety standards. The bill also includes measures to accelerate the strategic project, allowing exemptions from mandatory feasibility studies, shorter development timelines, and greater flexibility to revise contracts. With U.S. strikes on Iran currently paused, President Donald Trump said he is aiming for diplomacy, saying on Monday that Washington is holding what he described as good talks with Tehran. He also said Iran had requested talks both directly and through intermediaries, but warned that strong military action could resume if no agreement is reached. The U.S. paused its strikes on Friday, following 13 consecutive days of attacks against Iranian targets. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived in Washington ahead of a critical White House summit on Tuesday. Iran is expected to top the agenda, although the two leaders appear to differ over the next step. Trump is prioritizing an agreement that restores shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, while Netanyahu is expected to press for continued pressure on Tehran. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says Russia is preparing a major expansion of its war efforts, including a new troop mobilization and additional military support from North Korea. In an interview with Britain's Sky News ahead of talks with British Prime Minister Andy Burnham, Zelenskyy said Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to order the mobilization of between 300,000 and 500,000 troops after Russia's parliamentary elections in late September. Zelenskyy claimed that North Korea is preparing to send another 30,000 troops to Russia, with preparations underway since June in Russia's Voronezh region to receive the additional personnel. The Kremlin dismissed the allegations, saying Russia's military plans were not for the Ukrainian president to comment on. Korea saw more than 10.7 million foreign visitors in the first half of this year. According to the Culture Ministry on Tuesday, the number of foreign visitors rose 21.3% from the same period last year. The ministry said that tourism spending also increased. Credit card by foreign tourists surpassed $6.8 billion for the first time. The milestone was reached about 3 months earlier than last year, when tourism spending did not hit that mark until September. By country, China accounted for the largest number of visitors with 640,000, followed by Japan with 340,000. And Taiwan with 220,000. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.